Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 53rd episode of the Triboro Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Justin Alonso, joined on the other side of the 88.7 WNHU studio, Nicholas O'Brien.
I heard your calls. I heard your feedback. You can see my face now.
Go back, I don't like it.
We did some moving around. It's not perfect, but you can see me better.
I don't like what I see. Go back.
And if you're listening on Spotify, you should be also listening on YouTube. So
You shouldn't be listening on YouTube. You should be watching on YouTube.
Right. If you forgot how to do it, sync it up between YouTube and Spotify. Mute the YouTube video. Listen to it on Spotify. Yeah. You can watch it.
It's fine. You all can't be as smart as us, but the way that how we would do it, the smarter people would be listen on Spotify, sync it up on YouTube.
Right. So just so you guys know, but
if you can't sync it up, that's a you problem, but figure that shit out.
Honestly. But yeah.
Yeah, there was baseball that was played.
There was a
lot
of
of very important baseball that was played.
This is the second to last episode in the regular season.
I don't like it.
Because you got this week, right? We got next week, which will take us to the end of the season. And then 2 weeks from now, that episode will be talking about playoffs, really. And playoffs and or a very disappointing end to the season. So we'll see. But very important baseball this last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Some more important than others.
Yeah. We're looking at you, Chicago White Sox.
Exactly. That's the 62 Mets record. Don't you dare.
Don't you dare fucking take that record. Yeah, unless you got anything else to say, just go right into the Choo Choo Bronx.
Let's go right into it.
Hi, everyone. Future Justin here. There's something that I just want to talk about. So we're a very lighthearted podcast. I don't think anyone's going to disagree on that. But something that happened recently is a kid that I grew up with. He unfortunately took his own life, and something that one of his older brothers created was a page called the Brother Bear Project. It's on Instagram. It is a foundation dedicated in his name, Sean Seidel, and it's for suicide awareness. And it's just something that's very important. Mental health is, especially for guys, is seen as a joke. It's something that needs to have more stuff done for it and just more awareness. And I talk for myself. I've had my own struggles. I felt like I was alone. I felt like there was nothing that could happen. If anyone is dealing with any of that stuff, this is your call right now to get help. It's tough. It sucks. But this is the call right now. Definitely look up the Brother Bear Project. It's on Instagram. The website will be dropping soon. It's just something that it means a lot, and it's really needs to be talked about more. It's a taboo subject, and it just shouldn't be. It shouldn't be a taboo subject, and it's something that a lot more people need to focus more on because it's as important, if not more important, than your physical health. I just had to say that, just something I needed to say, and on that, now we'll actually get into the Bronx.
Let's go Yankees! That one is drilled deep to right field. There it goes. See ya.
That ball is high. It is far. It is gone.
This is 161st Street, Yankee Stadium. Transfer is available to the B and D trains.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back into got some Mongolian throat singing going on.
He's flatlining.
Welcome back to. Anyways, I died. Why did it click that? I don't want you to click that. Don't click that. There we go. I hit too many buttons. Welcome back to the Bronx. The Yankees had a very good week. But first, of course, your injury update brought to you by Triboro MD. So the Yankees.
God, no injuries?
No, I don't think so.
Oh my God.
I hope no. It's definitely not because I forgot to do it, but I'm pretty sure there was nothing. Let me just, for devil's advocate, I'll double check right now. Yankees injury update. The one thing I fucking forgot to do in my
It's
notes.
your one job.
My one job. I'm sorry. Yeah, there was nothing. Ooh, I didn't think
Wow.
so.
Is that a first?
Well, we have a AAA pitcher that is resumed a rehab assignment that I've never heard of before in my life.
Oh, thank God.
I know, thank God. But sorry, doctors, you guys had the episode off. I can do it too. If you do it, I can do it too.
Anything you can do, I can do better. Anything you can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Anyway,
Yes, I can.
so
Yes, I can.
the Yankees played a 3-game set at home against the Royals, and then a 4-game set against the Boston Red Sox at home.
Bastard.
So they did a really good job. They took 2 out of 3 from the Royals, took 3 out of 4 from the Red Sox. That's literally all you got to do.
Yep.
The Royals, I have 2 notes on the Royals series. One, Bobby did shit. Bobby Witt didn't have the best series. Hopefully,
Can't handle the lights.
Can't handle the lights. Too bright. Speaking of which, I'm curious now. Bobby Witt stats. What is his? So he's at 332. I spelled Bobby Witt with a U, but after the Y.
Babu?
Bobby?
Babu.
Bobby Bublé?
Bobby Bublé.
Oh.
Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt Jr.
Bobby Witt Jr. Like the French people from Monty Python, the Holy Grail.
Yes.
What was it? Oh my god. I can't think of it now. It's I wave my private parts at you in a bad way. Some dumb shit like that.
Oui, oui.
Oui. That's an acid trip of a movie. If you've never seen it, just watch it.
We watched it last night, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah. But kind of a segue from the Royal series to the Red Sox series. So the last game of the Royal series was on 9/11. And if there was any doubt that the Yankees were going to win on 9/11, I just don't think that.
Someone just fell upstairs. Sorry about that.
But yeah, Jazz had a walk-off. Like, MLB scriptwriters were not letting that happen.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing that I don't think we talked about on the podcast, but we talked at length on the radio show, is just how big of a missed opportunity it was to have the Mets and Yankees play each other on 9/11.
Absolutely.
Or at least have the fucking Mets play in America.
Yeah. They were in Toronto this past week, obviously, with the Blue Jays, and it just, again, we talked about it at length on the radio show, 88.7 WNHU.
Listen,
we're on Friday. No, Wednesdays.
not Fridays. Oh, ignore him.
Sorry.
Wednesdays,
6 to 8. Links are in the description. Listen to us there. But yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense that the Mets were in Canada for 9/11. So at the very least, like we said on the radio, that they should at least both be in New York. If they're not playing each other, whatever. But at least play in New York.
Did the Mets wear like the FDN or the FDNY stuff?
Yeah, they wore the hats at least. But like, I feel like it just loses a little bit of its touch because it's in Canada.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Oh, those are some
Dumb.
nice hats, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
But it really is dumb. Like the NYPD versus FDNY. Like there's so many We probably talked for 20 minutes purely on the marketing aspect that MLB could do.
Maybe more.
Maybe more.
It might have been like half an hour, but
Just because you could make one, all the fans want it. 2, MLB can make a shit ton of money from doing it.
Yeah.
And I think there was even a lot of stuff that they just missed on when they did it a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But anyways, I just wanted to kind of touch on that. So Jazz hit a walk-off single. Then the very next day, Soto had a walk-off single. I can't remember the last time they had a walk-off this year.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they just did none
Yeah.
this entire year. I think they had like 2 this year before those 2. So to have them back-to-back days, that was really nice. I also did not know that Salvador Perez was playing first base. So there was like a tweet I saw
Yeah.
that Salvador Perez gunned Anthony Volpe at the plate. And I'm like, what?
Excuse me.
Because I just never noticed he was playing first base in that series.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Why?
Wow. But yeah, he's not really catching anymore, I don't think, if at all.
Yeah. I think he played only at first base
Yeah.
during the series. But regardless, they won 2 out of 3, huge series. The Red Sox series is kind of a lot more important because first off, took 2 out of 3. You made it so the Red Sox cannot win the AL East anymore. It's mathematically impossible. And you essentially eliminated them from the playoffs. And there was a lot of drama that has to do with that. I'll kind of get into that later.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to talk about Nestor Cortez really quick. So he went 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 9 Ks, which is a pretty solid start. Nothing crazy, but like a really good start. You look at a lot of the underlying numbers, like he had a 41% whiff percentage. He had 19 whiffs overall. His caught stealings plus, or not caught stealings, called strikes plus whiff was 34, which is pretty solid. All the underlying numbers were saying they're like pretty good. And that's 2 appearances back to back from Nestor where he's been very good.
Right.
You had the 4 and I think it was 2/3, either 4 1/3, 4 2/3 against the Cubs where he didn't let up a run, and a lot of his like spin rate numbers were up. You obviously have this where he had 9 strikeouts in 5 innings. So if you're getting that Nestor Cortez, that is insane for this team.
Yeah, I think he's definitely pitching with a little more oomph.
Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Because, we talked about his comments last week after he came out of the bullpen. But then and then he comes out and does this. I mean, that's exactly how you should respond to that. Shouldn't be talking crap about your team, shouldn't be like talking smack about the organization or anything. Like going out and pitching like this is the best way you can basically, kind of show that little fuck you, kind of like, hey, I'm still a starter. I'm still a really good starter. This is why.
That's 2, by the way.
I know.
We were just talking about that earlier, but that was 2. Anyways, so he obviously did very well. Aaron Judge officially broke the Paw Patrol curse. For those that don't know, Aaron Judge went on Paw Patrol. Ever since that date, he had like a 17-game homerless streak, which was the longest in his career, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
But the way he broke it, I'm going to pretend the Moneyball music is playing in the background. I really wish that was hilarious when we did on the radio show.
We need to grab it off of archives.
Just a little, very quick rundown. Nick was talking about the Francisco Lindor home run.
Yeah.
Was it a walk-off or?
No, it was a game-tying home run after they got no hit for 8 innings.
Yeah, and we had the Moneyball music for those that know about the time when what's his face, Chris Pratt's character hit the home run to bring them all the way back. And we had Nick do a play-by-play reenactment of it with the music going on, and I was dying
Once
laughing.
we get it, we'll post it. It was amazing.
that was one of probably top 3 moments on the radio that we've ever had.
Absolutely.
Zach Wilson sucks, by the way, since we're talking about the radio. Anyways, pretend there's Moneyball music. The Red Sox are up 4-1, the bottom of the 7th. Aaron Judge comes up with the bases loaded, absolutely cranks a home run into left field to give the Yankees a lead. And that almost seems like the perfect definition of an overcorrection.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Where it's like you're struggling. Then you quite literally could not have had a bigger hit.
Yeah.
And just
amazing.
It's almost a good thing. I'm kind of happy he had that slump.
Right.
Because he also had another home run later in the series. And you hope that he's getting hot now going into the playoffs rather than slumping.
He got the slump out of the way.
Yeah.
Maybe hopefully catching a little fire now. Ideally.
He is one of 4 players in MLB history to hit 53 or more home runs through his team's first 150 games of a season multiple times.
Damn.
I want you to guess who the other 3 are.
What was the stat again?
There are 4 players, so Aaron Judge is one of them.
Yep.
In
so
MLB history to hit 53 or more home runs through a team's first 150 games of a season multiple times.
Barry Bonds.
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
McGuire?
Yes.
Sosa?
Yes.
Babe Ruth?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was looking at it. Did you know that Barry Bonds only hit 50 or more home runs once in a season?
Was it
70
whatever? Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Every other, here.
Boarding up and you still can't have multiple 50 homer seasons. Crazy.
Dude, you want to hear something crazy? He had when he was 42 years old, his last year in MLB, he had a 480 on base.
Insane.
That's wild. But you look at his home runs, he has a shit ton of 40 home run seasons.
Yeah.
Nothing like
That's it.
That's literally, it's just 40, 45.
70.
Yeah. But this isn't the Barry Bonds podcast.
It could be.
Could be.
Could be.
Could be. Let us know in the comments if you want it to be a Barry Bonds podcast. But I want to talk about the big, dumb, fat elephant in the room about the Rafael Devers intentional walk situation. So I'm going to lay down the framework really quickly. It was the 4th inning. Garrett Cole had retired 9 of the first 10 batters in the game. He had 1 out in the 4th, nobody on, in a 0-0 game, or in a 1-0 game. He intentionally walks Rafael Devers. First off, what is your opinion on that?
Stupid.
I agree with that. It's stupid. You should not be walking. Like, worst case scenario, the game's tied.
Right. I'm sorry.
Absolute worst case scenario.
I'm sorry, but I understand Devers has insane stats against Cole. I understand that. I get that completely. You're Garrett Cole. You're one of the highest paid pitchers in baseball, and you're on the New York Yankees, and you are giving up. Like, I know there's more to it. I get there's some form of strategy to it, but you're giving up. Like, if you want to pitch around him, whatever. But to just literally nope, not even going to try. That's some pushy shit.
It's different if,
shit.
like, it's a 1-run game, there's a runner on second, or something
completely different. But you've been on a roll. I understand he has your number. Just pitch against the guy.
Yeah, it's just...
It's like, seriously? Like, taking the easy way out. That's so stupid.
No, I agree with you. That was stupid. But after that intentional walk, it started a run of 10 out of 12 batters reaching. You went from 9 out of 10 not reaching to 10 out of 12 reaching.
Yeah.
And he ends up later in the game, the next at bat, hitting Devers with a cutter that just cut in too much.
I think that was before, no?
No, it was after.
That was after?
It was after.
Okay.
But it just doesn't... The cutter with Garrett Cole, me and you talked about this a little bit off camera,
Yeah.
that the way Garrett Cole's cutter works is, at least this year, it's either cutting a little too much or just not cutting at all.
Right.
So that's what's going to happen if you're throwing a cutter to a lefty and it
Yeah.
cuts too much. It's going to hit the lefty.
Like,
That's just...
Look, you see, it was Wells catching, right?
Yeah.
You see Wells literally set up, like, on the black inside. And throws a cutter. It's going, and then it just cuts, like, way too much and hits him. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything intentional in that. I think that's literally just a cutter that got away from him.
Oh.
Like, I don't know, because it's not like it was on his trajectory, like, full on. Like, in the last second, it cut too much, and that's when it hit him, you know? It's not like he was throwing a fastball behind his back.
Yeah.
That's different.
And Alex Cora and it's funny you say that. Alex Cora came out after the game, and this is a tweet from one of the Boston beat reporters saying that he was agitated after the game, and to him, them intentionally walking Devers showed that it was intentional that they hit Devers, which I don't see how one has to do with the other.
Yeah.
And then in that game, as I said, it was ironic. Brian Bello proceeds to throw at Aaron Judge. It literally could not have been more obvious that he was trying to, and he missed. But the next day, Cora said, we had a shot in the 6th inning, and it didn't happen. That's when Bello threw at Judge.
Right.
What is your kind of opinion on that?
I understand that teams are going to throw at people, and I'm completely fine with that. Let me just put that out there. But it's another thing to basically go out there and be like, yeah, we tried throwing at a guy, but we missed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you can do that. You can't.
You can't. And we'll be the open investigation
I was just going to say.
on him.
So now you just put yourself into even, like, more doo-doo. Because Bello could get suspended. I don't know if, like, Cora could get fined. Yeah.
Cora could get suspended.
Right. Like, now you look like an idiot.
And also with how late it is into the season,
Right.
who's to say that those don't cross over into the next season.
Yeah.
So with a pitcher, it's different because if it's like a 3-game suspension,
Then,
whatever,
yeah, whatever.
you figure that out. But like a manager, like say Cora's not the manager opening day because it was a 3-game suspension with 2 games left in the season.
Right.
And I just so stupid.
Yeah. If you're gonna throw at him, throw at him. A, don't miss, and B, don't go in front of reporters and be like, "Yeah, we tried."
Yeah. Did you see Judge's response?
I think so. I forgot what he
So
said. I did see
this
it.
is a quote from the Boston Globe. Things like that happen, Judge told reporters for the Boston Globe. I know they're upset. I think 3 other guys got it that day, and I think they're just protecting their players, so something's got to happen. And that's the way this game kind of gets policed and has been policed for 100 years. So the biggest thing is don't miss when you do it.
Yeah.
When I read that quote, the only thing that I thought of is when you come for the king, you better not miss.
Yeah,
That's
no.
all I could think of, and that is just such a badass Aaron Judge quote that it's just, if you want to hit me, you better not fucking miss.
No, I mean, and he's completely right. Like, again, don't miss. Like, you have usually one shot, and obviously, usually you're going to go after the team's best player, and especially when someone like Aaron Judge, like, that can light him up, you know?
He hit a home run the next day, and I don't know why, but Twitter's been being so funky on my computer. Next thing saying, "Can you have a Mac?" Me.
Because you have a Mac.
But there was when Aaron Judge hit the home run on Sunday's game, he carried the bat to first base, and he was asked about it, and he kind of like smirked, like he had a smirk on his face, saying like, "What? I don't usually do that," and just saying like it was a high intensity. Aaron, you silly goose. But that's how you respond to something like that.
Exactly.
It's
No,
just being like,
perfect
wait,
response.
you're not supposed to do that?
What do you mean?
What?
God, I do that all the time.
I gotta do that all the time. Like,
Right. Like, everyone knows he's lying through his teeth, but there's nothing.
he literally has a smile on his face when he does it.
But it's not like MLB can be like, well, look, you were smiling in that interview, which means, like, you know?
Well, even then, it was just carrying a bat to first base.
Right,
It was
but-
nothing like
No, I know. But, like, for the sake of...
if it
like-
was something bad.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I love that. I love that Judge is getting petty. I think like a petty Aaron Judge is just awesome. Because it's not petty in the way of like showing other people up. It's just petty in the way of like, yeah, I know I'm good,
Right.
but I'm not gonna like say that constantly. Like we
Yeah.
all know I'm good. Like I don't gotta say it. But,
Right.
like I'm better than you.
I'm better than you. You know it.
Just yeah, you took 3 out of 4 from Boston. You had that whole shitstorm of a situation that I think the Red Sox handled that so badly.
Yeah.
Just the way of that clearly wasn't intentional. But you're saying it's intentional because he got intentionally walked earlier in the game.
Right.
I the only argument is like, oh, he didn't want to pitch to him, so he hit him. That just intentionally walk him or pitch
Right.
around him, like
Whatever.
because like it's a thing of Cole was just trying to pitch inside. That's what you do to lefties when you have a cutter. You throw inside of the cutter, try and get them to jam it. That's
Right.
just
It happens.
the way. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Every once in a while, one will get away from you.
Yeah. I get the timing of things, but come on, you gotta look at it realistically.
He was just trying to light a fire under the Red Sox team, and it just
Didn't work.
backfired.
Yep.
Um,
Probably lit a fire under the Yankees more so than it did the Red Sox.
Yeah. Because like we said, the Red Sox are pretty much they're out of the AL East race. That's mathematically impossible, and they're
Yeah.
essentially unless they go, I think like 13-0, and a bunch of teams like lose pretty much every game, they're out of the playoffs.
Yeah, they are currently how many games back of the wild card? They are currently 4 games back of the wild card. They would have to jump 1, 2, 3 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're behind Seattle, Detroit, and Minnesota
Yeah,
for that final wild card spot. So
that's crazy. Detroit's
Detroit's a game and a half back.
the fuck.
Yeah. I don't know if they have any games against the Twins, but that could be interesting down the stretch.
That could be really interesting.
They do not.
They did not.
They do not. Boring.
That'd be
but whatever.
crazy.
Go Tigers.
I wouldn't want to face the Tigers just because they're pitching.
Yeah. School.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to
Tyreek.
face Skubal in a big game.
Yeah.
And also I'd much rather face Minnesota because
Minnesota.
Minnesota against
Yeah.
the Yankees. But the last kind of note I wanted to talk about before getting to like more big picture stuff was Tim Hill has a 69.5 ground ball rate since joining the Yankees, which is the best
Insane.
in Major League Baseball.
Insane.
He had I forget if it was Saturday or Sunday, but he came in, got a ground out, and then a ground out double play to end the inning. I talked last week about how Tim Hill shouldn't be the full-time closer, but if they need a guy in a pinch, he should be a guy that you could at least somewhat trust.
Yeah.
And
I think that's fair.
he's just been awesome for the Yankees, and there's still some people that don't notice that.
Yeah.
They just say, "Oh, DFA'd by the White Sox. He's bad."
Right.
No, he's pitched very well.
Even on
since-
the White Sox, he had some pretty like good underlying numbers that kind of hinted at, hey, this guy's not nearly as bad as he was.
He's got something that could be a little bit. And even like ground ball pitchers, like we say, they usually don't have good underlying numbers just
Right.
because obviously statistically you strike guys out, there's a 0% chance they get on base.
Right.
You give ground outs, there's a
Error, misplay, whatever. It sneaks
hit
through.
hard, yeah.
Yeah, like
But
math.
math is hard. But I just wanted to talk about Boone starting Verdugo against a lefty over Dominguez.
Mm.
This is a quote from him. More Reagans.
I think it's Reagan's, yeah.
More Reagans. It's crazy that they got him for Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah.
That's just wild.
Yeah. Bad trade.
Was he a prospect when the trade happened, or was he actually
think-
like in MLB?
He was like one of the guys who were like up and down.
Up and down, kind of on the shuttle.
Yeah.
All right. More Reagans. Reagans is the guy that's really tough on righties as a left-handed pitcher.
Which is true, by the way. I
It
looked
is
into it.
true.
Yeah.
But I kind of wanted my lefties in there today. But being that Dominguez's better side is the left side, so you consider a guy that's really tough on righties, and I want to keep Doogie playing. Why? I kind of wanted a left-handed presence in the lineup today, knowing I was going to give Wells a day today. It was just that. What is your opinion on that?
I understand the concept because, like I said, it is true. Lefties have much better numbers against Reagans than righties do. But at the same time, this lefty's Alex Verdugo.
Like, if you're going to say that, why not play Grisham?
Right.
Grisham, we've talked about at length about how he has a lot better numbers against lefties than he has righties.
Right.
So if you're saying that you want to put in a lefty in because a lefty struggles against lefties, then you put in the guy that hits lefties better. That is a lefty.
Right. And honestly, I feel like the fact that, yes, Dominguez is a switch hitter, so he'd be hitting righty against him. I have more confidence in right-handed Dominguez than Verdugo, period.
Exactly.
But I get it. You still want to keep your guys fresh and stuff, but like,
I would rather Jason Dominguez for the first time in his life hit lefty-lefty.
Yeah, exactly.
I would honestly rather that. Like, yeah, he may not be comfortable with it, but there's guys in MLB that have done it. You look at Tommy Edman; he's a perfect example. Where he'll hit righties sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes he'll do righty.
Yeah, it's just.
And then he'll just go back to switch hitting like normal.
Yeah, it's not hard. Like, that's just. I don't know. Just that whole situation just irked me.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to talk about that. But then, two quick kind of last notes. The rotation, as it kind of lines up right now, is Luis Gil tonight against the Mariners, Nestor, then Clark, and then it's not confirmed, but how it would line up is Cole and then Rodon. It seems that Stroman's just out of the rotation. They said he was going to be like on kind of mop-up duty and like he'd be used out of the bullpen. He hasn't been used yet.
Right.
Do you think that's how the rotation stays for the end of the year?
Probably, right? Maybe Stroman gets a start, like somewhere in the middle there.
Mm-hmm. Like if they play, well, the only thing would be that they play 6 games, then they have an off. I'm pretty sure they have a travel day, and then they play 6 games. So it's not like they're playing like 10 games in a row, keep guys fresh.
Yeah, but I don't know. That probably says more about the playoff rotation or the playoff roster. But yeah, unless he gets unless they want to skip someone else.
They do have an off day on Monday, by the way, so
Right.
it's 6 and 6.
Yeah, so for the most part, yeah, I think that's probably where they want it for the rest of the season.
That's how I see it too. And I think that I'm going to pat myself on the back because I think what I said they should do is what they're going to do, where they use Nestor. You take Nestor out of the rotation, but use him as a 4-inning guy out of the bullpen.
Right.
And I talked at length about it last episode. You should listen. But it is, I love that. I love that so much. I just think that his craftiness, if you put him after a guy like a Heel, a Clark, or a Cole, guess what? That's 3/4 of your rotation. It just offers such different at-bats that you're just putting guys off. Because say that you throw Cole, and then, or not Cole, say that you throw Heel or Clark, whoever's your 3.
Right.
You throw them, then you have Nestor coming to end the game, and then you have the other one, either Clark or Heel, the next day.
Yeah.
You literally are just changing speeds how much in the span of a 2-day span? And then you also get Tim Hill in there, who's a slow, crafty lefty because he's very good at baseball.
Throwing from the ground.
Even a guy like Luke Weaver, he doesn't throw the hardest, but he does his job.
Right.
Does a pretty
He's done an excellent job, I will say.
And he's done a very good job
opportunities,
as the closer, which doesn't make sense. Just because he does not seem like he'd be a good closer. Just kind of like
I know, but sometimes that's all you need. You don't need the intensity. I know you love that, but
yeah, if it works, it works. I'm not complaining.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's it. I want to talk about the rotation. The other thing is kind of just the Yankees' record against the AL playoff bracket as it sits right now.
Mm-hmm.
Against Minnesota, they're 6-0.
Shocker.
I could not be less scared of Minnesota, and I really hope I don't get clipped saying that. The Kansas City Royals, they're 5-2. I'm not really that scared of them.
Mm-hmm.
The Houston Astros, they're 6-1. I will say that was before Houston got hot, but I still think they have their pitching is still pretty bad, right? Like pretty beat up. I'm saying beat up, pretty badly beat up.
Yes.
That's what I more so meant. Because is Verlander either pitching like shit or is he hurt again?
I think he's just
pitching
mid.
Like shit.
Like he's not great.
Cleveland. Or sorry.
No. I was just gonna say he got lit up against the Diamondbacks like last week. So, but regardless.
Cleveland, they're 4-2 against. I will say Cleveland is a little kind of scrappy.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they always play scrappy against the Yankees. Baltimore, they're 4-6 against, but also Baltimore is a much different team than when they played them last. The last time they played them was before the All-Star break, and even then, I'm pretty sure they won that series.
Yeah.
They went 2 out of 3. They would have swept if it wasn't for a Clay Holmes meltdown.
Verdugo.
So and Volpe. But yeah, that Verdugo one was just So you're 4-6 against the Orioles. You have another series against them that's going to be more of a litmus test of where the Orioles are compared to the Yankees, which we haven't talked about it because I was kind of saving it for this point. But the Orioles are 3 games back. The Orioles have not been playing well. The Yankees have been separating a good bit. There's 12 games left in the season for both teams. The only series that I think matters is that Orioles series. Because you cannot, no matter what, get swept in that series.
Oh, God.
I know.
PTSD.
Because say that, let's just say for argument's sake, it stays where it is right now.
Right.
Where the Yankees have 3 games up.
Mm-hmm.
You could lose that series and still be fine. You'd still be 2 games up.
Right.
But you get swept, they have the tiebreaker, they're half a game up.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
With 3 games going left into the season.
Right.
You want to obviously win that series for momentum, playoff seeding, trying to get that number 1 seed, all that. And we're looking like a week in advance.
Yeah.
But you cannot get swept in that series. That's literally doomsday.
I mean, that's literally what happened to the 2022 Mets. They went into Atlanta for a 3-game set. You cannot get swept because for same exact reasons, 3 games up. If you lose, Braves get the tiebreaker. They got swept. The season ended. They ended tied because the Braves had the tiebreaker. Braves won the division.
Because there's no, for people that don't know, there's no more game 163.
Right. It's
whatever the final standings are, that's the final standings.
Yep.
And it's just because you don't even need the tiebreaker because you're 4-6 against them. You don't get it. As long as you don't get swept, it's not going to matter.
Right.
And it's just something that I've been kind of preaching a lot more when looking at standings, that the team that has a tiebreaker, give them a half game
Yeah.
Just because that's kind of a
Essentially
much
what it
easier
is.
way to look at it. So how far back are the Mets from the Padres? A game?
I think 2.5.
So you're 2 games behind the
Right.
Padres.
Yeah.
You kind of just have to look at it that way.
3.5. Sorry. So 3.
3.5. So you're 3 games on the Padres. Whatever it is behind the Diamondbacks.
1.
And
1 game behind the Diamondbacks.
is that 1 or a half?
Well, I guess technically half because they have the tiebreaker.
Exactly.
So-
So you have to look at it that way, where it's just a half game back. You're fine. You're okay.
Sorry.
I love you. That's how you have to look at it. And going down the stretch, I'm very confident in what this team will do because I think the hardest series is this series that you're about to play.
Mhm.
Because you're playing the Mariners, who are fighting for the playoff lives. Because even the Orioles, yeah, they're fighting for the division, but they're in the playoffs. They're gonna make it.
Yeah.
Mariners are fighting for the lives. You're playing in Seattle against pitchers that all have an ERA, I think, below 3.3.
Right.
You are playing in a place where hits just don't come.
They just don't drop.
They just don't drop.
will
They
not
has
drop.
There was a thing that it's AT&T. No, that's
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile. Yeah,
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile ballpark where the Mariners play has the same negative ballpark factor that the Rockies have a plus ballpark factor.
Yeah. If you look at it, the Rockies Coors Field is park factor of 112, so 12% above average. Mariners T-Mobile Park is 91, so it's 9 below average.
So it is essentially
Yeah.
they're like the far extremes.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So it is essentially it's Coors Field for pitchers.
Absolutely.
So runs are going to come by very hard,
Mhm.
but I feel like you have a lot of guys that always hit well. Aaron Judge, I feel like, always hits a ball out of the stadium whenever
Yeah.
they play there.
Yeah.
So I'm confident going into the series, but I think this is kind of the last hard series. I'm not saying the Orioles series isn't going to be hard.
Yeah.
But other than that, you have 3 games against Oakland. They don't play that well in the Coliseum, but still, it's Oakland. And then you play 3 games against the Pirates at home.
Right.
So you realistically have this series. If you can manage to at least not get swept
Mm-hmm.
in this series, I think they'll win the series. I think
Yeah.
they'll drop a game just because Seattle's a good team and it's at Seattle. But as long as you don't get swept in this series and the Baltimore series, you're cooking pretty because the
Yeah.
Orioles are just playing like dog shit.
Right. Like
So-
you mentioned, the Mariners have excellent pitching. That cannot be understated.
Yeah,
But the other thing too is their offense has been hot as of late.
it has. Okay.
In a time where they've almost been as bad as the White Sox offensively. So they've gotten hot. So you probably have a little more on your hands offensive wise. But as long as the Yankees offense can score off that pitching, I think you're in a good spot.
You also have 3 pitchers, and Heel, Nestor, and Clark they may not be the most consistent, but when they're on, they're on.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I'm really looking forward to the series. I'm not looking forward to staying up till fucking 1 in the morning to watch all these games because I'd do anything for the podcast. But yeah, I got nothing else if you wanted to take us away.
Yeah, so with that being said, we'll head on to Queens, where we got a lot to talk about.
It's out of here! And the Mets win it!
This is Mets Willets Point. Transfers available to the 7 local train.
Transfer is available to the Q48 bus to LaGuardia.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Queens, where the Mets finished up a pretty mediocre week. They went, I believe, if I can do my math correctly, 3-3. Took 2 of 3 out of Toronto, and then lost 2 of 3 to Philadelphia. Very frustrating weekend, to say the least, and just not even frustrating, just a horrific weekend when you take into account the injuries. But we'll get into that right now with your injury report brought to you by Triboro MD. And got to start off with the biggest one, Francisco Lindor. I don't know what they're calling it, but it's his back. I think they've been calling it like back soreness and like back. Like, it's not a strain, thankfully. I think but I'm going to call it soreness because that's most I've seen. So he got an MRI on Monday, came back clean, thankfully. It sounds like this is a truly day-to-day thing. And obviously with backs, there's so much that you use your back for in baseball.
Especially on a swing, too.
Exactly.
Like, just think about how, not necessarily his swing, but just generally how violent swings are.
Right.
Especially on a back, because you're literally just getting all the torque, all the twisting, all that. It's very important.
It's a lot. So he did try to play in Sunday's game. He hit a bloop single and then made a play in the field. But after that, he came out of the game because I assume he didn't feel right. The Mets didn't like what they saw. He definitely looked a little gingerly, like kind of trotting the first base on the single. He kind of overthrew the throw to first base, almost threw it past Alonso, which you just don't see from Lindor. I mean, it cannot be understated how big of a hit this is. I mean, obviously he's not on the IL, so that's great.
IL essentially knocks you out of the playoffs.
Yeah, almost. Because it would be 10 days. The 10 days from now, he would be back for the last series.
You're missing the Braves series. Like that's
right. That's catastrophic. But he said it could be anywhere from 2 to 3 days to 3 to 5 days. You know, a true day to day. If he wakes up today feeling great, maybe he plays. If he wakes up tomorrow feeling sore, he doesn't play. It's going to be tricky. Obviously, the Mets have had their fair share of star players in their backs, unfortunately. So this just sucks. There's no other way to put it. I don't want to say it was avoidable because he did mention he's been playing with a little achiness in his back for a while. But it did come on a play on Friday night in Philadelphia where he hit a double. Instead of sliding, he ran in standing up, kind of tripped on the base, jerked back to get to the base, but then jerked forward because I forgot who was playing second, had the ball, and then he just tripped and fell. And then after that, I think he played in the field, and then they took him out. So it's one of those things where it's like, maybe if you just slide, maybe you're fine. But again, it was an issue he's been playing with for a while, it seems like. So it was probably just an amount of time before it gave out on him. And he didn't play last night against the Nationals.
But you didn't need him.
Jesus. We'll get into that a little later. But I don't know, man. This really sucks for the Mets. And, you know, as much as I'm sure he doesn't really, quote unquote, care about it, for the MVP race, too. I mean, Shohei Ohtani did absolutely fuck all against the Braves until Sunday's game, thank God. I don't know how he did last night. But, yeah, it just sucks. I was speechless when they took him out of the game. Even more so when he didn't play on Saturday. Look, my thing is if your season gets derailed by one player, you're not a good team.
Yeah.
This isn't football. You didn't just lose your star quarterback. This isn't basketball. You didn't just lose Jalen Brunson. You know, this is baseball. You got 8 other guys on that field. And you got 12 other pitchers in that bullpen.
13 pitchers.
No, 9 guys on the field, the pitcher.
Okay, fair.
8 other guys in the lineup, 13 other guys in the bullpen, 5 guys in rotation, whatever. You get the gist. You have 27.
Right now,
27 other guys on that team. And I understand what Lindor means to this team, and I completely get it. He's been playing on an MVP level. If your last 2 weeks gets derailed because of one player getting hurt, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. You don't deserve to be called a good team. Look at the Yankees last year. Aaron Judge went down, and that was that. Right?
That was it.
That's it. Like, they were done for. That was a poorly rostered team because one player went down, and that was it. Obviously, Aaron Judge and Lindor are different players, but the point still applies. One player goes down, and that's your season, then you didn't deserve to be in the spot you were to begin with. So Francisco Lindor, hopefully he heals fast. If he has to miss the National Series, great. Even if I have to miss the Phillies series, so be it. Hope to God he's good to go for that Braves series. That's really the big one.
Yeah.
Because on Saturday, they kind of held their own for a while against the Phillies. Obviously, they lost that game, but they held their own. They kind of stayed in the race with them without Lindor. And for the most part on Sunday, too. But hopefully he heals fast, and hopefully we see him on the field soon. But moving on from Lindor, unless you had something.
No, I'm just looking at the wild card race, and like, how crazy would it be if just the Diamondbacks, because of their skid recently, they just don't make the playoffs, and both the Mets and the Braves make the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll talk about the playoff race a little later.
Yeah, sorry for jumping ahead. I was just looking at it.
It's definitely a lot can change in a week and a half.
Yeah,
2 weeks. So
especially with this Padres Diamondback series you've been talking about for the last 2 fucking months.
Exactly. So we'll talk about it in a bit. But next guy up. More unfortunate news. Daniel Nunez, he's out for the season with elbow injury. I think he's getting one of those PRP injections. So what's called?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Kind of like, I don't even know what, like the gel to help it heal, whatever. He's out for the season, unfortunately. So we won't be seeing him, which is just a blow to the bullpen. That's been pretty good overall. They had their hiccup in Philly, but been pretty good overall. Starling Marte, he got hit on the forearm on Sunday's game. He stayed in the game but didn't play, or I think that might have been Saturday. Whichever. He got hit on the forearm. He got taken out later, but he did come in on Monday's game as a pinch hitter, and he won the game, so he looks good. Kodai Senga threw live batting practice last week, and he is set to throw batting practice this week, and he could make a rehab appearance by the end of this week and be in line for a return next week. Next week being that Braves series. So that will be certainly interesting. And then the last guy, not so good news, Christian Scott was throwing a bullpen session over the weekend, but the way his rehab is going, it sounds like they're not really counting on him being back. Obviously, you don't want to rush him and kind of hurt him even more. So Christian Scott, not looking great, but Kodai Senga is on the right track. But that's all the injury report out of the past week. Obviously, a pretty rough week injury-wise and just injury rehab news-wise. But to quickly go over the Blue Jay series, it was certainly a series. They took Game 1 without much stress, I guess. David Peterson had his first clunker of a start in a while on Saturday.
I didn't know if that was your foot I hit or like a wall.
That was my foot. But he had his first clunker in a while, but he bounced back amazingly against the Phillies. So it happens. And then, like Justin mentioned, Lindor's game-tying home run in the top of the ninth after getting no hit for 8 innings on Wednesday's game. Just incredible. That's what MVPs do.
Chris Pratt would be very happy.
Be jealous. That's what MVPs do. We talked about it on the radio just because it happened that day, but he took the team on his back.
We can more than talk about it.
Yeah, he took the team on his back. He directly put them back into that game, and just amazing.
Maybe that's
player.
why his back's hurt.
From carrying the fucking team, yeah. But that was the Blue Jay series. Philly, you unloaded on Aaron Nola, scoring 11 runs in that game with three-run home runs, one by Francisco Alvarez, one by Brandon Nimmo, one by Harrison Bader.
Uno, dos, tres.
Sí. And then the double by Lindor that ended up getting him hurt. But there's some positives to take out, but there's also a lot of negatives. I'm not trying to be too overly positive and, look at the silver lining and everything, but the Phillies are the best team in the National League, one of the best teams in baseball. And for the most
You
part,
put them over the Dodgers?
as of right now, yeah, especially with the rotation. Yikes. You kind of hung in with them for the most part, right? Friday, completely demolished them. Saturday, you blew a lead late. Sunday, you blew another lead late. So, yes, it's frustrating, but look, you kept Trey Turner under control, kept Kyle Schwarber under control. Bryce Harper kind of got his moment on Saturday, hitting 2 home runs. But for the most part, you got beat by the bottom of the lineup. And it's nice to see them handling the big guys, but also you got to do better against the platoon guys, the role players. That's really what cost them this series. JD Martinez hit the ball pretty well. He had about 3 fly balls that were like up against the wall. One of them was literally a home run robbery. So he's been hitting the ball well. Not so much on Monday, but over the weekend he's been hitting pretty well. Even Pete Alonso too. He hit some ropes that just went right to people, and of course he hit a garbage time home run off a position player. Mr. Low Leverage, hello, welcome back.
Chris Paul hits a 3-pointer to shrink the lead to 42.
Yeah, exactly. Like I mentioned, David Peterson had a really, really good bounce back outing. I didn't write down his line, but I'm pretty sure something like 7 2/3.
If I could spell box score, that'd be really nice. And here, game log against the Phillies, who went 7 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts.
Yeah, and that 1 run came in the 8th inning. So he held the Phillies scoreless for
Was it a home
7
run?
back-to-back doubles. With a fully rested bullpen, Carlos Mendoza decided to bring out Peterson for the 8th inning. Didn't mind it, but after he gave up that first double, I feel like he should have pulled him. Like I said, fully rested bullpen. And
when he got pulled, he was at 99 pitches.
yeah,
So assume he was at what, like 85?
He started around like 85.
80, 85.
Yeah. So like I completely agree with the notion of letting him start the inning. But after that double, I feel like he should have been taken out.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of one of those things where it's a batter by batter where you have this inning, you let a guy on, you're out.
Yeah.
Especially if the guy's in scoring position now.
Right. And just a very unfortunate ending to his outing because the offense couldn't score. They scored 1 run off a Tyrone Taylor home run the inning before, and then they tied the game right after.
I did not, sorry to cut you off. I did not realize how much length he was giving you as late. You look at his box score going back for the entire month of August. 6 innings, 5 innings, 6 1/3, 7, 7.1, 7, 6, 4 1/3 against the
Blue
Toronto,
Jays, yeah.
and then 7 2/3.
Yeah, he's been
His ERA went down from
amazing.
a 3.47 to a 2.85.
Right. I mean, what more can you ask for? That's all the starters,
Not giving
too.
up back-to-back doubles.
Score more, and it's not an issue. But that's all the starters have been just excellent. I mean, even last night, Sean Manaea gave you 7 innings. Sean Manaea gave you 7 innings. Severino gave you 6 on Saturday. He had a weird start. Quintana, I think, was 7 innings again on Friday against a really good Phillies team. So the starters have been, in the month of September, the starters are really the thing that's keeping you in this game. I feel like we've seen a lot of this with the Mets. Like early on, the bullpen was kind of keeping you around. Over the summer, the offense was just can always just explode for like a 5-run inning. And as of late, the starters have been the ones keeping you in the game. It's the offense, and the bullpen has been shaky, but they've been pretty decent overall. Those are the ones that have really kept you in some of these games. Even on that 9-game win streak, it's the starters. The last 30 days, the Mets have the 3rd best starters ERA at 2.81, only behind Toronto and, of course, Atlanta. But if we go to the start of September, The Mets have the second best ERA, only behind Cincinnati Reds, surprisingly, at 2.03. And they lead in FIP at 2.67. So the starters have just been amazing, giving you 88 and two-thirds of an inning so far in 14 games in September, which is just insane. I don't know what that averages out to.
Say it one more time.
I got it. 88 and two-thirds. That's about 6 innings a start, which is just
That's more
amazing.
than you could ask for.
Yeah. So the starters have looked good, and it's the offense that needs to really get it going. But the last positive out of this series, and something I completely forgot to mention at the top of Queens, Luis Angel Acuna was called up. Mets, I think he was number 12. Mets ranked 12 prospect. DJ Stewart was sent down in favor of Luis Angel Acuna. DJ Stewart I never really understood the call up to begin with after Jeff McNeil got hurt. He doesn't really give you anything that Jesse Winker doesn't give you. You know, Jesse Winker's a better hitter. Jesse Winker can play better defense. DJ Stewart cannot, and DJ Stewart strikes out way too much, and maybe he'll run into a home run, right?
Did they have to DFA anyone? Or was he already on the 40-man? He was already on the 40-man?
Acuna was already on the 40-man. But I think in regards to Lindor's injury, they kind of realized, oh, shit, if Lindor's really hurt, Eddie Alvarez is our starting second baseman. So Luis Angel Acuna came up. He made his first major league debut. His first game, his major league debut on Saturday against the Phillies, and he went 2 for 4 with 2 singles. And he looked good in the field. I was very impressed. Obviously, very small sample size, just a first game. He hasn't hit much in AAA. I am not the biggest Luis Angel Acuna believer, but if he can be like a scrappy bottom of the order guy, you know what I mean, like
Oswaldo Cabrera.
Right, like
Oswaldo Cabrera minus the utility.
Right, he hits a single, maybe like a drag bunt. He gets on, he steals second, he scores. Right. If he can be that down the stretch, especially while Lindor's hurt, I think that's all you can ask for. He's not going to be the guy. Again, we mentioned on the radio show, the Mets don't have a Jason Dominguez. But if he could be a scrappy bottom of the order guy that just, a pest on the base path, he plays really good defense, and he gets on when he can, I think that's more than what you asked for. But he looked really good. He had a couple hard hit balls. He didn't chase a ton. But yeah, he looked good. Was pretty impressed with his debut, and I'm getting the feeling he's definitely going to start these last 2 games against the Nationals because they're throwing 2 left-handed hitters. Eddie Alvarez is a lefty. Left-handed hitters. I said left-handed hitters.
You said left-handed hitters.
Left-handed pitchers. Eddie Alvarez is a left-handed hitter. Luis Angel Acuna obviously is a right-handed hitter, so he'll probably play. I think they're going to play him at shortstop and Iglesias at second base. But yeah, really good debut for Acuna, and we'll see what the kid's got down the stretch. And then on to the negatives of this series. The bullpen was a little less than ideal. Saturday's game, Danny Young just didn't have it. He did get beat by a few little flares that just got over the infield's head. And then Reed Garrett gave up the go-ahead double to Cal Stevenson, whoever the fuck that is.
I love how you accidentally got, nasally when you said that.
Did I?
So you're like, Cal Stevenson.
Cal Stevenson. And then Stevenson is also the guy that robbed J.D. Martinez of his home run. So I'll just go fuck myself, I guess. But yeah, Reed Garrett, just not great. Danny Young, even worse. And then on Sunday, Edwin Diaz, you gotta pay attention to the guys on the bases. Nick Castellanos gets on and steals second base off of you. You gotta pay more attention because due to the fact that Castellanos got to second, JT Realmuto hits a walk-off single that scored Castellanos. 90% sure he doesn't score on that if he's on first base. And also, if you're throwing a guy 3 straight fastballs around the same location, what else do you expect?
You ready for this, by the way?
No.
Cal Stevenson is 27 years old.
Okay.
He made his major league debut in 2022 with the Oakland Athletics, where he had a 167 batting average and 60 at bats. 2023, he was with the Giants, where in 9 at bats he had a 0 batting average, and with the Phillies in 15 games, 19 at bats, really low. He has a 316 batting average with 3 doubles and 5 RBIs.
And one of those doubles and 2 of those RBIs came against the Mets.
And who the fuck is he?
Who the fuck is this guy? Very frustrating.
Career minor leaguer that's 27 years old.
Yeah, but yeah, Edwin Diaz, gotta trust your slider. He has been really turned away from it a little bit. I think he used it a little more last night against the Nationals, which I guess is the team to kind of play around with. Not play around with, but try to get your pitches right. So just a very frustrating loss on Saturday and Sunday, where you easily could have won the series, maybe even swept if the bullpen did their job. But the biggest story of this is the offense, right? After Lindor went down, you scored 1 run in 15 innings after, I think it was a 3-run second inning on Saturday. 1 run in 15 innings. It's really bad. And on Monday's win against the Nationals, you scored 2 runs all game. Your first run that tied the game came on an infield single, like that. I think it hit off the pitcher's leg that Iglesias beat out. And then Starling Marte RBI single to win the game. The offense has been a problem for a while now. I'm not going to put it on, because Lindor went down now. And even if it was directly correlated with Lindor going down, again, you're not a good team if one player is your entire offense.
I'm just thinking the
Yankees.
Jimmy Butler meme where he's like just hunched over on the bench, just like sweating just because he was carrying the heat so much.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah. The offense has been an issue for, I'm going to call it all of September and the end of August. I mean, what's it? Since the start of August, right? Francisco Lindor, 163 weighted runs created plus. Amazing. Jeff McNeil, who's now hurt, 137. Pete Alonso, 128. Probably a lot lower in clutch situations. Jose Iglesias, 4th on the team with a 107 weighted runs created plus. I lied. That's not in order. He is 6th on the team with a 107 WRC plus. Mark Vientos is 4th with a 116, but he's really hit his first funk as a major league player. I think the broadcast said he was like 3 for his last 30, something like that. Jesse Winker, 107, and Tyrone Taylor, who plays sparingly, 102. But you have a lot of starters. Brandon Nimmo, 83 weighted runs created plus. JD Martinez, 79. Starling Marte, 79. Harrison Bader, 62. Francisco Alvarez, 54.
I don't know what the hell's wrong with him. Like, we could say like the pulling, we could say like whatever, but just it does. He is way too good of a quality hitter to be doing that.
Yeah, I don't get what's
like
going.
Me personally,
yeah.
I would probably say he should be. If you look at the Mets team and look on names and talent base, he should be your 3rd best hitter.
Yeah,
behind Lindor and Pete Alonso.
I'd agree. Between him and Vientos, like 3 and 4.
I'd rather Alvarez just because like I think he has more pop.
I see what you mean. Yeah,
just like the more raw power.
Yeah,
but still, to say he's your 3rd or 4th best hitter should be, and he's the worst hitter on your team.
Yeah,
and it's not even
almost.
close. Like
yeah,
that's,
I mean, Luis Torrens is the only hitter who's worse, and he's your backup catcher.
In what, 5 games? Like
16 games compared to Alvarez 37
over
in the past
how long
month.
of a stretch?
This is from the beginning of August.
Yeah,
118 plate appearances. He's hitting 183 for 246 on base, a 284 slugging.
that's just.
284 slugging. He has no power whatsoever.
Do you think it's the thumb? Or it's just
It
not
could be the
fully
thumb.
100%. That's kind of sapped his power.
It could be, but even then, he's not making a ton of contact. He's striking out almost 30% of the time, you know?
Do you think it's almost because he's pressing? Because he feels like he
Maybe.
has to? Because even when he does make a good swing, it's not going?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. He hit a 3-run home run against Aaron Nola on like a super inside curveball, I think it was, that he just completely turned on. So that he looked really good there, but after that, it's like nothing. Like I said the same thing after the walk-off against the Orioles. Hopefully that can start something. Nothing. Hopefully Friday can start something. So far, nothing. Nothing. But yeah, the offense has been pretty bad since the beginning of August. Just their team ranks since the beginning of August. They are 11th in weighted runs created plus at 102. As a team, they are hitting .239 for .311 on base and a .397 slugging.
That was since when?
Beginning of August.
I was just going to say that you look at the last 3 months overall. July, 759 OPS, pretty solid. I almost said June. August, 731. September, 662.
Yeah.
But you look at their on base, 320, 315, 303.
Yeah.
That is
horrible.
For where their OPS is.
They're being carried by home runs.
Their slugging is high, but when you don't have it's the issue of the 2022 Yankees. Aaron Judge was slugging at an insane level, but no one was getting on base.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're hitting doubles and home runs if no one's on base. Because you look at July or June when they were that good, 356 on base.
Right.
That is why they were so. I think what were they? They were 16-8 in June.
Right.
Because guys were just getting on base.
Exactly.
And it's just
you're just not seeing that. You're seeing a lot of. It's frustrating because I know it's not, but it looks a lot of uncompetitive at bats. You're seeing guys flail at sliders in the other batter's box. Watch strike 3 down the middle, taking meatballs down the middle. Like, be more aggressive, but
Be aggressive.
Like. Pete Alonso, I hate to keep bragging on him, but Pete Alonso has taken so many fastballs and breaking balls down the middle that you think he would crush in any other year that's not 2024.
He just, I think he's the biggest issue with this offense. Just because what he's done on a year-by-year basis and what he should be doing for this offense, he's just not doing. You look at let's go back to his rookie year. In 2019, 53 home runs. In 2020, in 57 games, he had 16. In 2021, 37. 22, he had 40. 23, he had 46. This year, he has 32. But you look at a lot of all the other numbers, RBIs obviously aren't the end-all be-all. RBIs...
But he's your cleanup hitter. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Significantly down. I don't know how, but it says OPS plus is the same.
Yeah.
Like, is last year, which doesn't make sense.
I think just it's the league offense in general has been down. But still, like, he's your cleanup hitter. He's one of the guys that should be driving in runs, and he's not. We've gotten to the nitty-gritty of the high leverage stats and the runners in scoring position and stuff like that, and they're all below his career averages. So it's time that Pete Alonso, I'm looking at you. Francisco Lindor went down. You have 2 weeks left in the season. You have not had a hot stretch this entire season of carrying the team. You are on a free agent contract. This could very well be your last homestand as a Met. If you want a big contract, if you want to be remembered fondly, or even to get a contract back for the Mets, this is the time that you need to go on a stretch. You need to hit 5 home runs in 12-game span, drive in 15, 20 guys. Francisco Lindor is down. You should be stepping up. No more bullshit. No more he'll turn it around, because he's not. Now's the time. Pete Alonso needs to carry this offense.
Get off your fucking ass right now and do it.
Literally. Brandon Nimmo, too. He was basically lobbying for the Mets to buy at the deadline, And they did, a little bit. But after the All-Star break, he's been abysmal.
Yeah.
You can't play him.
But you have to because of the contract, and who else is going to play?
Right. JD Martinez, really good in June. July was okay. August was bad. September has been bad. I know I said he's having better at-bats, but that's just as of late. He's been abysmal. Starling Marte, I know you're hurt. You've been abysmal since you got back. Mark Vientos.
If you're that hurt, you shouldn't be playing.
Right. Mark Vientos is a rookie, essentially. He carried this offense for a time. The veterans aren't. Francisco Alvarez, when he first got back, he was on fire. Pete Alonso, never on fire. Brandon Nimmo had a really good June. That's it. He's having the worst offensive season of his career. Guys need to step up for however long Lindor's out. And even when Lindor is back, guys need to step up because it's not going to be a good ending to the season if you're focusing on Francisco Lindor to carry you for the last week and a half. Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo, JD Martinez, pick up the slack, get off your ass, and show me that this is a playoff team, right? Right now, they're in a playoffs position. Great. Come Atlanta, they better show up because in the past they haven't. With that being said,
I was just going to say that. What was I going to say? I forget. I was going to say something, but I didn't want to cut you off. You go.
With that being said, a quick wild card recap. We kind of talked about it in Bronx a little bit, or earlier, whatever it was. The Mets currently are in the third wild card spot. Atlanta is 1 game behind. They are 1 game behind of Arizona for wild card 2. Call it half a game because of the tiebreaker, like Justin mentioned. San Diego Padres are up 3.5. Call it 3 because of the tiebreaker. The Mets play 2 more against the Nationals, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and then welcome back the Phillies for 4 games this weekend. Atlanta, on the other hand, I believe, are playing the Reds tonight. Yep, they have a 3-game set against the Cincinnati Reds in Cincinnati, and then 3 against the Marlins to finish out the week. And just for the hell of it, we'll look at the Diamondbacks, who got walked off by the Rockies last night. They play 2 more against the Rockies, and then 4 games against Milwaukee over the weekend, after just losing a series to Milwaukee at home. It's crunch time. Like I said, no more bullshit. What you did 2 months ago, 3 months ago, none of it matters. Everything can change tonight, tomorrow, next week when we record. It could be a completely different mindset. Nothing matters about what you did the rest of the season. If you're having a bad season, now's the time to turn it around. If you're having a good season, doesn't matter.
Keep it up.
Everyone's going to remember what you did in these last 2 weeks. The starters have done their part. The bullpen, for the most part, has been decent. Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo, JD Martinez. Wake up. With that being said, that's all I got, if you had anything else to add. But does not seem to be so. So, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. It's going to be a very stressful last 2 weeks in Queens. Obviously, the Bronx has a lot to play for as well. Every game matters. Every game matters. This team has a real shot of winning 90 games, which is not something I thought I'd say at the beginning of the year. If you win every series down the stretch, 90 games is a very real possibility. And it is also wild that 90 games might get you into the third wild card, when last year it was 84. The Mets clinched a winning season last night, but again, none of it matters unless you pick up the slack these last 2 weeks. But I'm going to stop ranting. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. As always, remember to follow us on all of our social media accounts at Triboro Podcast. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Subscribe to us on YouTube so you never miss an episode. Follow us on Spotify so you never miss an episode. Justin and I have our own radio show Wednesdays at 6 to 8. Talk all things New York sports, more than just baseball. Obviously, football's back on. Links are in the description. WNHU 88.7 on FM dial or online. But thank you guys again. Hold on to your butts. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.